Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
And the breaking news is General Motors and the UAW, they have now reached a tentative contract agreement. Here's a live look at the GM headquarters in downtown Detroit, looking at the Ren-Sen. Talks have been happening over the past 6 weeks with the union, and finally the end of the strike is in sight. Well, thank you for joining us this noon. I'm Nick Monticelli.
And I'm Priya Mann. The deal with GM follows deals with Ford last week and Stellantis over the weekend. Members of the UAW National Councils will soon be looking at the deals, and if approved, union members would vote in the coming weeks.
Yeah, Will Jones is live with us for reaction from General Motors workers in Van Buren Township. Will, what are they telling you this afternoon?
Well, a lot of people are excited that this could be over. We're at the GM's Willow Run Distribution Center here in Van Buren Township. A handful of people are out here on the picket line. They're planning to stay out here until they get the official word from President Shawn Fain. The UAW ramped up the pressure on General Motors over the weekend, hoping to reach a tentative agreement, and that is exactly what happened. We're awaiting specific details on the agreement. Of course, GM workers are as well, but we're hearing it follows the pattern set with Ford last Wednesday and Stellantis over the weekend. Those deals will last 4 years and 8 months and include 25% general pay raises and cost of living adjustments. This process isn't over yet. The final stage will be the pacts getting approved by a simple majority of each automaker's union represented workers. Workers I talked to today are looking forward to getting back to work.
We're glad. We've been waiting on this. We're the, the last people to, get an agreement. But we've been out here in this cold. We've been weathering through it, showing our support, being there for, our union sisters and brothers, and, riding this thing out. So now that we got an agreement, we could get back to work.
They've been surviving on $500 a week, which has been difficult for some, but most tell me they have been able to make it work, and not to mention being out here in the cold. So a lot of people are excited. They've been watching their phones all day, waiting for the official word that they can pack it up and get back to work. We're live in Van Buren Township. Will Jones, Local 4.
All right, and now we wait to see if those contracts will be ratified. All right, thank you, Will. And we'll have more coverage on this latest change in the UAW strike throughout the day. Count hearing more reaction from union members as well. We're also digging to learn more about the union's agreement with GM and how it stacks up with deals with both Ford and Stellantis.
All of the automakers have also reached deals with Unifor in Canada as well. Stellantis reached a tentative agreement with the union this morning. More than 8,000 Unifor represented Stellantis workers in Canada went on strike at midnight after there was no deal reached by the bargaining deadline. The agreement with Stellantis ends strikes at all Unifor facilities. Unifor workers at both Ford and GM have already ratified new 3-year deals. Well, now this is truly something terrifying. On the day before Halloween, you were looking at the campus of Michigan Tech, where forecasters are expecting up to 6 inches of snow.
6?
Today.
You said 6?
I did.
My goodness. Ashley joins us now. Ashley, please tell us.
Look at her face.
Come on, the trick-or-treaters, come on. They won't need their winter boots and gloves.
Why we live in Detroit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You can see how the snow is flying up into the UP, and that is trickling as far south as mid-Michigan here in the lower peninsula. So some snow continues to fly across Traverse City, Alpena. I will put Exact Track 40 on because not all of that making it to the surface. So especially as we look closer here to southeastern Michigan, it is dry for now. The clouds have been winning out, but we do anticipate some breaks in the cloud cover heading into the afternoon. 40 degrees right now in Lapeer, 39 in Pontiac, 40 at Metro Airport, 40 in Ann Arbor, 43 in Monroe, and 41 in Mount Clemens. Some of these areas are exactly at, if maybe not even a degree cooler than where we started the morning when we started our shows at 4:30 this morning. We're not seeing a big influx in these temperatures throughout the afternoon, only going up by a few degrees. So if we're lucky, we get to 45 degrees, and a few peaks of sunshine could help us with that. But northwesterly flow of winds between about 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained. sustained and gusting upward of 20 miles per hour. Well, that cool breeze will make it feel like the 30s throughout much of the afternoon. Now, these temperatures will continue to slide heading into Halloween. Our afternoon high tomorrow only 41, and then we stay in the 40s throughout much of the work week by finally getting into the seasonal mid-50s heading into the weekend. But some of those flakes that you saw flying on radar, I know they steered clear of us today. That might not be the case for trick-or-treating. Stick around. We'll give you a look at that forecast.
Ashley, thank you. Turning our attention now to a long-awaited report coming out this afternoon. It will summarize the Oxford school shooting response, and it's coming from a group called Guidepost Solutions. The findings of an investigation into the response to the November 2021 shooting will again come out. Investigators are also planning to hold a question and answer session on Thursday for community members. 4 students were killed in that shooting: Madison Baldwin, Tate Meir, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling.
Police in Oakland County are looking for help in solving the shooting death of a 16-year-old girl over the weekend. Police say Desiree Childs was shot and killed around 11:20 on Saturday night while she was walking home with a friend. Detectives believe that several shots were fired, but it's unclear who pulled the trigger. Family members held an emotional vigil last night for Desiree. We'll have more on the family's call for justice tonight on Local 4 News at 5.
Israeli troops and tanks pushed deeper into northern and central Gaza today. This as hostage release talks with Hamas broke down after Israel declined to allow fuel shipments into Gaza. Jay Gray reports as Hamas is declining to guarantee the release of a large number of foreign captives.
We know the ground advance is expanding right now in Gaza by Israeli defense forces moving in with support from the air as well as the Israeli Navy along the coast. More than 600 targets hit in the last 24 hours, according to the IDF, including weapon depots, dozens of tank installations and underground tunnels as well. All of this has really affected the hostage release negotiations. The IDF announcing today a new number, 311 hostages they believe are being held inside of Gaza. Hamas has said we can't negotiate while they are slaughtering our people, so the talks kind of breaking down last Friday. We know officials in Qatar are still working behind the scenes, and the White House has said that they are in constant communication with both Israel and Qatar, and that the release of the hostages, including missing Americans here, is their top priority. The problem continues to be fuel inside of Gaza. Many of the hospitals are operating on what could be their final hours of fuel at this point, and just the basics to bake bread for people there or to fuel ambulances is all but gone. It's a situation that, according to the UN, is dire at this point. That's the latest from here in Tel Aviv. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
Jay, thank you. As the fighting continues, support could soon be on the way. House Speaker Mike Johnson vowed on Sunday to move forward with a $14.5 billion Israel aid package when the House returns later this week. Well, the fighting so far has not impacted gas prices like experts expected. Prices at the pump continue to fall, according to AAA. The average price for a gallon of regular gas in Michigan is $3.30. That is 9 cents lower than last week. Gas is always cheaper in the fall, and AAA says prices are following a familiar pattern. They will continue to drop as we head closer to the holidays.
Dozens of Democratic lawmakers are urging the Biden administration to require private health plans to fully cover the first over-the-counter birth control pill in the U.S. The drug, called Opill, is expected to hit store shelves early next year. The Food and Drug Administration approved it in July, making it the first non-prescription daily birth control pill approved in the U.S. It's not yet clear what the retail price will be. Panera is now displaying a warning about its caffeinated lemonade, and this comes after a lawsuit was filed by the family of a young woman alleging she died after drinking the chain's charged lemonade last year. Panera has now included the disclosures about the drink at its cafes and on its website and app. The new language says the drink should be consumed in moderation and not recommended for people who are sensitive to caffeine. Panera says the caffeine content has always been listed in stores. A large charged lemonade has 390 milligrams of caffeine. To put that in perspective, that's close to the 400 milligram daily maximum intake recommended by the FDA.